Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are waking up and feeling great out there this morning and having a fantastic start to your day and a great week out there so far. Hope everyone had a great weekend, as this is my first time with you guys since Sunday morning. Of course, if you've been following along over the last 2 days, I've been storm chasing, left around 1:30 Eastern time after church here Sunday, and drove literally almost nonstop besides a couple little stops here and there. Of course, use the bathroom, get some snacks, all the way to Western Kentucky. Got there about 8:30 Central Time, and rode right up on a tornado producing supercell, a damaging tornado. And the sun was setting. It was very eerie. It was just a really a terrible situation for the people who live there. But I did get it on film. Very, like I said, kind of scary looking, just because it was a nocturnal setup. At the very beginning stages of this tornado, it was like a stovepipe, but then it evolved into a rain-wrapped wedge. And from what I'm reading this morning, the National Weather Service in Paducah, Kentucky has already rated it an EF3, a high-end EF3, 165 miles per hour. If it goes up another 5 miles per hour, I do believe it'll get that EF4 status, and a lot of people are having some chatter about that in the weather community, about how that's likely going to happen. So what's looking like an EF4 tornado hit Western Kentucky a Sunday night. So pretty awful stuff. It's been awful over the last several days, the several weeks, couple months. The people are thinking that this has been our worst severe weather season since 2011, and I would certainly agree with that take. So I'm definitely praying for everybody. Me and my little girls, said a little prayer last night, praying for everybody impacted by this nasty weather. It has just been nonstop, and it's hard for me to sit here and tell you guys that it's going to slow down, because every time it seems like I say that, once again, we're breaking down another severe weather system. And once again, this morning, we're talking about severe weather. I don't think the tornado threat's going to be high end. I do think there's a risk. I think the biggest risk today is going to be damaging winds and very large hail. So we'll break that down, discuss that, and then at the very end of the video, we'll discuss how we have another couple of days of severe weather coming up. And I'm just going to tell you guys, it's just that time of the year. We're going to have a risk of strong to severe storms just about every day, even if it's just a marginal risk. It's just an everyday thing from here on out, at least probably all the way until we get to winter, this coming winter. So, yeah, guys, I want to quickly note, and then I'll stop yapping my jaw and talk about the weather. I probably won't have really any evening videos this week, just kind of taking a break. Last week was a grind. I'm struggling this morning. I'm very tired. I only got 2.5 hours of sleep, not last night, but the night before. Called up somewhat last night, but of course it takes a couple of days to recuperate from lack of sleep, or even just one night. At least for me it does. So if you notice the lack of energy, that's why, but we'll get through this. But we will discuss it in the video, what's driving, kind of some things coming up. So yeah, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it, and if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put those in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling. So I got the surface fronts up here, low pressure, high pressure. This front right here is from that trough that dug down, brought all the weather over the last few days. You see a low right here, little upper, you can call this a low pressure, an upper area of energy, a shortwave trough, whatever you want to call it. It's just energy in the atmosphere. And where you see that low, typically you have some rainstorms nearby. And of course, you got some just off the coast of the Carolinas, a little bit down here in northern Florida. And then just the frontal boundary itself causes enough lift for thunderstorm development. So you actually have energy north of this front that's probably, as I speak right now, bringing a damaging line of storms into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, producing the potential for damaging winds. So heads up there. But, I say heads up, but by the time this video uploads, this will already be through the city. In fact, we look at the radar right now, and it's moving through right now. See all these reports? So, hoping you guys in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are going to be okay after these storms. I'm sure you will. No tornadoes with this, but certainly severe thunderstorm. But, you got energy setting up shop. That L right here is going to spark all those strong and severe storms across Texas and surrounding areas of Texas. So got a little energy kind of between this front and this front here in the Central Plains. A little bit of energy associated with this next front that's moving in. Upper energy will get some strong to severe storms going in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois today. And then we got our next system moving in, and this will cause some issues. I don't think we're going to get a severe weather outbreak by any means. We'll certainly watch. Big area of moisture kind of surging out of Maine into Atlantic Canada. So, beware of a rainy Tuesday for you folks up here. Watches, warnings, and advisories. all in all, pretty quiet. We got the severe thunderstorm watch down here in Dallas, and severe thunderstorm warning, but northern Texas, severe thunderstorm watch, southern Oklahoma, heat advisories in southern Texas, where it continues to be brutally hot. And the rest of the country, on this specific map, there probably is some sort of alert. Some areas it's not being shown here. It's pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Excessive rainfall outlook. There is a moderate risk in the red area right here in the heart of Texas and the North Texas. That means there's at least a 40% chance of flash flood guidance being exceeded within 25 miles of any given location. And then in the yellow area, that's a 15% risk of that. So there's a flooding threat in Texas today, especially overnight tonight. The Storm Prediction Center outlook. As of now, pretty large enhanced risk. Level 3 out of 5 in Texas. Slight risk goes all the way up to the southeast corner of Colorado, includes areas of eastern New Mexico, the panhandle of Oklahoma, and southern Oklahoma, all the way over to Shreveport and Alexandria, Louisiana. Marginal risk surrounds that. We do have a bit of a marginal risk up here in areas of Chicago, Milwaukee. You do run the risk of strong and severe storms, and because you have a trough about to move into, well, it already is, moving into the Pacific Northwest, you have a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather for like Great Falls down to Boise, almost to Spokane, Washington, includes, these areas right here of Oregon, Idaho, and western Montana. So, pretty crazy stuff here. I mean, I say crazy, it's not totally unusual, but you do have kind of the transition to what I think is going to be more of a northern lower 48 severe weather setup over the next couple of days. But like I said, I don't think this is going to be high end. So let's break down what's driving this risk down here. So enhanced risk, Dallas-Fort Worth, the Waco, Austin, Abilene, San Angelo. You're getting some nasty weather already up here in North Texas though this morning. Okay, San Antonio, you're technically in that slight risk, Amarillo, Wichita Falls, Texarkana, over the Shreveport, Alexandria, Lufkin, Houston, Victoria, Galveston. I always struggle with that word. I don't know why. Lubbock, Fort Stockton. But what is this driven off of? Like I said, tornado outlook, the risk of tornadoes is not that high today. Not a lot of flow in the atmosphere overlapping all the energy in the atmosphere that will be here in Texas today. Just not a lot of mid-low level flow really going on at all. So just a 2% risk of a tornado, but certainly one can come out of this setup. But this is going to be a day where you're going to have some powerful supercells in western Texas to develop and then sweep eastward. You look at the damaging wind threat. Now this is significant. The entire red area, which is driving this enhanced risk, that's a 30% chance of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. In Dallas-Fort Worth to San Angelo, down to Austin, Abilene. And then the yellow area, 15% risk of that. And folks, you do have the risk of significant severe winds. In this area right here, that's a 10% risk in the black outline region when the black dash is going in between it. It's a 10% risk of winds exceeding 75 miles per hour or higher. Okay, so be aware of those severe winds. And then the hail outlook. Yellow, 15% risk of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger. And then in the black outline region, that is a 10% risk of hail exceeding 2 inch in diameter or larger. I could see this bumping up to a 30% risk. So, they would put that red area kind of like in the wind. Wouldn't be surprised one bit. They'll probably put it on out here in central to western Texas. So if they do upgrade it, they'll show red here and it'll be a 30% chance of hail. All right, so what about the radar for today? So we're dealing with these storms this morning. Just showed you a radar count at the beginning of the video of what's going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as of around 6 a.m. Central Time. So you guys are getting hit hard right now at the time I'm making this video. But all that energy will continue to kind of sink down to eastern Texas. I do think that could still continue to produce strong and severe storms over the next few hours. But I do think that weakens. And then just with the stalled out frontal boundary, I think you're going to continue to get more storms up here central to southern Oklahoma that will kind of get south of the Red River and, start to maybe affect northern Texas again. But it's really these storms that really get going, as early as like 3 to 4 p.m. in western Texas today. And these will immediately try to grow up scale and be severe, strong to severe. And as they grow up scale, the wind threat will certainly increase. Wherever, these storms form around a boundary, the surface front, that's where you could have a little bit of a spin up. But these storms here, they're very, some of them can be supercell in nature, but just basically just a very long complex of storms stretching across the better portion of western Texas will continue from Amarillo all the way down to Fort Stockton. Showers and storms, some capable of producing very large hail damaging winds. We get to 7 p.m. These storms will continue to kind of rumble through central Texas at this point. It's around 9 p.m. Sun's beginning to set. Storms stretching from Wichita Falls all the way down to the Big Hill country of Texas. And we could get some storms that form out ahead of this in eastern Texas, as you can tell. Some showers and storms up here in the Panhandle and southwestern Oklahoma. And then, I mean, this is like 11 p.m., midnight. Storms are really impacting the Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting down to Austin, maybe San Antonio. And these will continue. I mean, they're dumping a lot of rain, too. Inch-per-hour rates, some areas more. And these storms will continue throughout the overnight hours. And, you know, like down here, you know, you guys could, you know, in southeast Texas could get some very nasty weather in the wee hours in the morning. Houston might get hit, and the Gulf Coast of Texas might get hit by these storms and around daybreak tomorrow. So you might not get a whole lot today into tonight, but tomorrow, wee hours in the morning into tomorrow morning, that's when it could get kind of dicey in this area. And then more energy maybe gets going tomorrow morning. So you look at the updraft velocity swath in this area. This just indicates where we have stronger, taller, and updrafts. And there is some rotation with these that probably will be there. But here's the thing is, I think you'll get a lot of broad rotation today with these storms. You're going to struggle getting rotation that really tightens up in the atmosphere, therefore produces a tornado. But I do think we'll get a lot of broad rotation, stronger updrafts, which means they're going to produce very large hail, especially in the early cycle of these storms in western Texas. So you just see pockets of that, and then you move forward and you look at the winds. I mean, this is what the ARRR model is saying with these winds right now blasting through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm going to be interested to see after I get off this video if there's going to be any wild videos out of the metro area of Dallas and Fort Worth. So if you live in that area and you're tuning in, definitely let me know what you've seen this morning. As about it, like I said, by the time I'm done with this video, you know, the storms will be through. But you can see kind of the life of these storms as they continue throughout the early to mid-morning hours. But it does weaken, and then you see what happens in western to central Texas. And then we just have to watch the storms into the overnight hours as they kind of form in West Texas and drift across most of the state. And you just see pockets of wind gusts producing anywhere from 40 to 65 to 75 miles per hour. This is why you have such a significant wind threat today. And then you see how much rain could fall in southern Oklahoma and Texas today between now and the next 24 hours. And a lot of this falls in the second half of the next 24 hours, like tonight. Right, 2 to 3 inches. Somebody can get 4 inches of rain possible. Of course, this area has seen a decent amount of rain lately for Texas standards, which we know is just feast and famine with weather in general. I mean, especially lately, it just seems like Texas is either in just some crazy severe drought. You're getting waterlogged. I mean, you're getting ridiculous heat with the heat index like over 120, 125. And in the winter lately, Oklahoma and Texas has just seen very severe winters. I mean, we know what happened in February of 2021, but I think you've had some sort of Arctic front over the last few years. I mean, I think Dallas-Fort Worth area has seen a winter storm like the last 4 or 5 winters, I believe. So, I remember back in the day, it seems like, and I know I'm 32 years old and you are saying, this guy's saying back in the day, but I do remember a time where it seems like when the Dallas-Fort Worth, the Shreveport area down to Jackson, Mississippi got a winter storm, you always knew there was a winter storm coming for Columbia where I live. And you would always get excited tracking it from west to east. Now, I mean, that hasn't been the case in years. So it's just the Arctic fronts want to drop down here. You guys want to, so I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of jealous of you guys in the winter. It's been ridiculous how basically, I can actually draw a line as we look at this. It seems like the winter is just cut off basically in this area. No winter. So, but anyways, I'll quit with my whining this morning. Probably just irritable because I'm sleepy. So, but the southeast is today. Listen, I mean, the only thing that's going to happen out here is some storms that'll probably sweep through, Florida. Nothing too unusual, summer type, conditions here, but just some storms that'll kind of sweep through the state. Some of these could be strong to severe, but just your regular summer storm in Florida could be strong to severe, nothing unusual. So, if you live in Florida, definitely expect that, especially the peninsula. A strong storm or two, or just a normal summer light storm, could pop up along the immediate coastline of the Carolinas. Could get a little energy sweeping through the southern and central apps up here. As you can tell, some showers kind of rolling through areas of West Virginia and Virginia, maybe even northern North Carolina and Tennessee. And, I mean, you could get some shower activity overnight in the mid-Atlantic. But all in all, not a big deal. Not a whole lot going on weather-wise today in the southeast. Some drier air will be filtering in, and your humidity should drop off if you're still waking up to some high humidity this morning in certain areas of the southeast. The northeast, not a whole lot going on this morning. Rain's clearing out of Maine, but then you're going to have some more energy that pivots around this area of low pressure, or inside this area of low pressure, that's going to bring some showers, some thunder showers. Some of these could be strong. Some of these could produce a lot of small hail. It's very possible, especially with cold air aloft. So don't be surprised in the interior northeast today, later on this afternoon. You get a thunderstorm and it produces hail, especially up there in Maine. Look at these storms up here in Maine. I mean, you guys look like you're getting a stronger, severe storm or two up here in the northern half of Maine, but down here in PA too, New York. So this will continue to pivot through, weaken with a loss of daytime heating in the evening hours, and just more of a widespread rain moving through the Tuck Hill Plateau, the Adirondacks. And, we could get a storm or two overnight in southern New England. But then we're waking up tomorrow morning, and seems pretty chill tomorrow morning. But, some rainy, some storminess in the northeast, but nothing too crazy. Now, we've already talked about Texas and Oklahoma, but we'll give you that broad look. There's some more shower and storm activity forming in northern Oklahoma later this morning into the midday hours, and then just widespread development of showers and storms down there in Texas and southern Oklahoma. I'd watch out for a little bit more of an enhanced tornado threat in southern Oklahoma, a little bit of a boundary here. So if we get a couple tornado warnings, I would watch them to occur in southern Oklahoma. Could be wrong. We got some showers and storms in eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas that could move in, eventually take over most of the state, some shower activity. And, watch these storms up here in the extreme western panhandle of Oklahoma, northwestern panhandle of Texas, even the southeastern corner of Colorado, even the southwestern corner of Kansas. These storms could get the job done as far as a tornado threat too. Okay, so these will probably produce some significant severe weather, or have the potential to. I would just watch those. And all that energy will kind of deplete overnight and be done with. So if you kind of skip to this frame, definitely, go back to the Texas frame, and I dive deeper into the Texas storm. So north central U.S., we got some showers kind of drifting through, southern Minnesota into northern Idaho throughout the morning. And then we're going to have development of showers and storms throughout Wisconsin, all the way up into the northeastern portion of Minnesota. And then these storms will kind of drape across areas of lower Michigan, all the way down to Ohio. And it could get quite stormy this afternoon to this evening, from Janesville, down to Rockford, over to Milwaukee to Chicago. Maybe even Green Bay. Some storms, a little summer flow out there will get the job done as far as some showers and storms. And just a little bit of a closer look at this here. Here it comes. There's that energy that pivots through. And this is around 5 p.m. Central Time. Showers and storms in northern Illinois, central, western, southern Wisconsin. Storms. And, the biggest threat with these today, guys, some hail, gusty winds. Same thing with Detroit. Some storms are possible for you guys, maybe all the way down to Indianapolis. And, as we get later into tonight, maybe those storms continue for areas of Indiana and Ohio. But like I said, I think the highest chance, just like the Storm Prediction Center shows, for severe weather is right into here. You never can rule out a tornado, but I don't think this is a huge deal today. Western U.S., upper trough moving in, and this is probably going to fire some storm activity in Idaho, western Montana, and areas of Oregon and eastern Washington State. So if you live in Idaho, I know this doesn't look awfully impressive at all, but some of this can be in the form of a shower. Well, could be in the form of a storm, could be strong to severe, and just maybe some gusty winds, some hail is certainly possible. There's that low kind of developing off the southeast flank of this trough, digging into the Pacific Northwest. And this will continue just to eventually evolve into more widespread rain, higher elevation snow, Idaho, western Montana, and then we'll get into tomorrow. So just be aware of some strong to severe storms up here. Temperatures, you can see where that trough is dug in. So highs only in the 60s and 70s in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, interior Northeast, just 50s and 60s. Along the I-95 corridor, feeling more like a spring day, just 70s. You get down here ahead of this front in the Southeast, it'll warm back into the 80s and 90s. But Kentucky to Tennessee points north, a nice day. Deep south, pretty hot just because you haven't gotten really the cold front yet, if you do. And then you get into the western U.S., it's warming up in the high plains, 70s, 80s. But you can see the influence of that upper trough digging into the Pacific Northwest, cooler temperatures in Seattle because of it. But ahead of this trough, you're going to warm up pretty good. And I think that's one of the things driving a severe weather threat today across the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest, because you have a decent amount of thermodynamics. Your surface temperatures are certainly warm into the 80s and even some 90s. I mean, look at these areas in the valley of Idaho. I mean, it's wanting to show like mid-90s. So we'll have to see what happens there. Warming up in the southwest again. So as far as severe weather to come, we're all sick of talking about this. I know I am. I think I've said this quite a bit of times over the last few months. For me, if you rank them 1 to 3 as far as what's my favorite, 1 being the most favorite, I love talking about winter weather the most. The tropics is a pretty close second, and then severe weather is a long distance 3. I don't enjoy talking about it. I mean, I enjoy breaking it down and talking about it because I learn. But it's my least favorite. I don't want to say I don't enjoy talking about because, like I said, I learn, and it's a way to keep people aware. But it is definitely not, if you break weather up into 3 different sections, it's definitely my least favorite. Severe weather, I enjoy more so chasing it than talking about it. So that's that. But but that's not really the reason I'm done breaking this down. I just really wish we could all get a break. I mean, honestly, speaking for everybody, especially that's been in the impact zone, we're just all tired of it. I think that your normal person would say that for the most part, unless you're a full-time storm chaser and you want to keep chasing storms. But I guess if we can all meet a happy medium here, let's keep these storms like out in the open field, not bothering anybody. So that would be nice. But, and it looks like for, kind of tomorrow that'll kind of happen in a way out in the high plains. Of course, people live out here, but less, not as high populated regions. We got a slight risk extending from the Canadian-U.S. border here in Montana and North Dakota. I mean, pretty much it's just a weird line all the way down into the eastern plains of Colorado. This does include pretty much the western Dakotas, western Nebraska, and then eastern and northeastern Colorado, and a very small section of eastern Wyoming and Montana. Okay, level 2 out of 5 risk. We do have that level 1 out of 5 risk down here in Texas. This could upgrade a little bit of flow. We'll get the job done, but this is really for what's to come because of that upper trough digging in. What is this for? Well, the tornado threat's less than 2%, so that's good. Wind threat 15%, hail threat 15%. Okay. So what about Thursday? Well, they already got a slight risk at day 3. Okay, so level 2 out of 5 once again, and we're kind of starting to creep back into higher populated regions, stretching from southeastern Colorado all the way to North Texas, including western Oklahoma. Okay, even northeastern New Mexico. Level 2 out of 5 risk. And all we know is right now there's a 15% risk of severe weather. So, what's driving this? Okay, this is our big upper trough we're getting rid of, bringing a little bit of energy into the northeast today. Cooler temperatures, cold front associated with this is draped across this region right into here. Okay, little quick ridge building ahead. That's why you see this ridge, this area of high pressure. This is why it's warming up so much all the way into like Montana today and the Dakotas. All right, but you see this upper trough digging down. And this is really what we're showing for tomorrow afternoon. So this upper trough digging down right here, okay, this is going to provide kind of enough energy and lift for thunderstorms right into here. And I know I'm drawing in the higher pressure area, but the influence of this trough is already affecting this area. And if you notice, there's a really light shaded area of orange here. So high pressure isn't strong here. Low pressure is already influencing and breaking down this high pressure. This will continue. At the same time, you still got a little bit of flow down here. It's hard to tell on this map, but it's there. Okay, you continue to move forward, and you see that area in blue up there in the corner of your screen, the Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies. We get into Thursday morning. You're still dealing with this pesky low pressure here across the northeast. This will keep temperatures cooler. A little bit of shower activity will continue because of it. But then you get into your Thursday morning. This trough looks like it's beginning to eject. Not going to dig down across the western U.S. this time. But once again, you're probably going to have a threat of probably some storms up here too. And even though, if you kind of look back here, it's just a general risk of thunderstorms for Thursday. But I could see them putting some sort of risk of severe weather up here. But there's an energy kind of up under this trough and this little bit of ridging building right here that's kind of skirting across this region. A little bit of influence from this trough too. This will probably provide energy in the atmosphere for strong to severe storms. So we'll watch for that, and we'll dive deeper into what's driving this, probably here in the future. But, it just says large-scale mid-level troughing on the leading edge of the stronger westerly, emanating from the northern. I love how they just use, big words, and I'm not big with big words, guys. I try to keep things very simple. But, there's going to be embedded perturbations. I'm sorry, I got to stop this video. Let's just say it like this. There's going to be embedded energy will be forced to pivot north of the international border through the eastern Canadian prairies. So let me just go on and stop this video before I start cracking up. I'm tired this morning, man. I got to go get me some coffee or something. So that's all I got. God bless all y'all. We'll dive deeper into what's coming up with later videos, and we'll just kind of break it day by day. Like I said, I'm not going to have really any evening videos unless something dramatically changes with one of these days. Probably not going to really have any evening videos much this week. So I just want to say I appreciate a successful May. And even though we still got a few days left, I can pretty much know how May's going to end. But just want to say thank you for a successful May. Like I've said this before, May, June, and July are always weird months. And it's especially tough when, my wife's now finished with her degree, which is awesome, but we still have not got that income back yet. So, YouTube has been basically what's been holding us afloat with that, for a while. So I just want to thank y'all for the amazing support with that. And it's been fantastic having such success on YouTube to basically allow my wife to, quit her job for over a year. It's been over a year now, and for her to fully focus on her degree and her internship and all those fantastic things. And if you don't know, my wife's going to be in elementary school. She's already got a job starting at the end of July, early August. So looking forward to that. But, over the next several weeks, it's going to be a grind. So, when these months are successful, and the growth continues to happen on the YouTube channel, it's very exciting. And it's awesome, and certainly helps us out a lot. So thank you for the people who's, provided super thanks to the channel, that's donated to the channel. It's been huge. I just will leave it at that. So God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful morning and day, and I'll talk to you again probably tomorrow morning. God bless.